Well, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to the SIANI Annual Meeting 2014. Especially warm welcome to those of you, hello, who are following us on live streaming. We're very happy to have you be able to attend. Okay, now I hear that I'm actually being heard. No wonder no one reacted. Okay. Especially warm welcome to those of you following us on live streaming. And could those of you who have taken the trouble to come here in person today remember that we need to use the microphones so that the people who are following us can hear what we're saying. I have been waiting for this meeting for a while, since 2006 actually. When the idea of an agricultural network was born in an internal working group at Sida, and we started to discuss the format and the structure for that working group. This format became a proposal in 2008, and in 2009 the first inception meeting with outside and many participants was held in order to have an input into the potential working areas of the SIANI network. As you know, we had a first phase, 2009 to 2013, and during this phase they recruited a secretariat. It took 1.5 years to agree on the format and the structure for an advisory group, which is now in the second phase becoming a steering group. I think Matthew a steering committee. We'll tell you more about that. And we are so happy to have finally got from the secretariat to the advisory and steering group to the broad-based participation that we have always been working to have since the very beginning. Today, we're taking up 2 big questions with you, and we encourage everyone to make as much input as possible. Those of you who are watching us on live streaming, the questions are on Twitter. You can work interactively with us during the day. You send your reactions and your answers and your suggestions to #SIANI14. Those of us who are here today will be dividing up into small groups, basically looking at 2 major questions. How do we want to network? What are the forms? How do we interact with each other? What services do you expect from the network? And what should we be looking at in the second phase? So, my idea of a good moderator is not to take the floor too much, and I will be keeping time here, though. Warning to those of you who tend to be go on and on. We will be having some presentations here in the beginning, and then we'll break into our group work. The group work, these roundtable dialogues in small groups, will then go to lunch at 11:40. I would like to tell you that we're reserved lunch area. The kitchen will be very upset if we don't go there exactly at 11:40 and eat our lunch, so that then because they're open to the public, and the public apparently comes in at 12. So please save your phone calls and all that for after lunch. Okay, and we also would like to encourage what we call rainbow seating. You all notice that we have no plastic on our name tags here, and we all have a different color. So we would like you to be a rainbow group in each of your tables when we go into small group discussions, that you split up and see that you're as diverse as possible. Okay, now, without further ado, I will leave the floor to the 2 parties to the contract, Hanna Marsk from Sida and Jakob Granit from SEI.
Good morning, everybody. Very nice to be here at this network conference. And I would like to begin by introducing to you Hanna Marsk, who is the Sida program manager for SIANI. And we will introduce each other here and ask a couple of questions to start off this conference. Hanna is a political scientist from Uppsala University, and has been working for Sida since 2008. But not only that, in the mid-term for that, you took a leave of absence and spent some time in Mali on the ground working on rural development issues inter alia, and also experienced, as we all know, the political tensions in the region of that time, which I understand has been very formative for your work. So Hanna, I would like to ask you a couple of questions here. If we start off with the challenge that we see, if we look at the bottom billion, the 1 billion people that are without food security, lack water, lack electricity, many of them are in the rural areas and experience food insecurity to a large degree. Could you outline a bit to us, starting off here, what Sida's mandate would be in this space, and also how you think that SIANI fits into the wider policy framework and specifically Sida's activities?
Thank you, Jakob, and thank you for that nice introduction. And good morning, everyone. Well, starting with Sida's mandate, I think that this has become much clearer the last couple of years, actually. We, of course, have been working with food and nutrition-related activities for issues for many years, but I think that the concept as such has become clearer and also has gained much more attention globally since the 2008-2009 food crisis. And probably, I mean, as for the Sida's mandate, I think the most obvious signal to Sida was last year's transfer of the 200 million Swedish kronor food security initiative, the livsmedelstrygghetssatsningen, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Sida. And since then, I would say that the initiative has somewhat changed, and I think what we see now is more and more that food security is being mainstreamed in a much broader sense in our mandate, and we see this with the new strategies that we receive from the government. And I would say for the nutrition part of the concept, I would say that this is most prominent as it is now in Sida's humanitarian work, probably. But I hope that we will be able to take on a much more holistic approach in the coming years and work on these issues. And then as for SIANI, because you mentioned SIANI, right?
Oh, yes.
I don't remember the question now. I think as for SIANI, I would say that this is, well, to me, this is very much an initiative in the spirit of the PGD, the Swedish Policy for Global Development. And I think that, I have to look at my paper now, what I wrote. Yes, I think, I mean, this kind of idea that we need to work together is becoming more and more important as we see that official development aid, I mean, is playing an increasingly minor part of the financial flows that go to the South, countries in the South. So I think that we really need to reflect on, I mean, all actors in development cooperation need to reflect on what is our added value and how can we work together and how can we use Swedish experiences and knowledge in a strategic and effective manner. So I think here SIANI can play a crucial role.
Excellent. It's good to hear that you see that these issues on food security are being mainstreamed into your work, and in particular the Swedish broader development agenda. And maybe we'll see that also in the coming development platform as it's being played out here in the future. One more question. The network as such is drawing out a number of lessons learned and research and probably good ideas, and we hope that we will hear more about them here moving forward. How do you think, or do you have any idea of how Sida in particular could pick up on these ideas that comes out of the network and feed that back to your regular operation and business, or also into the policy framework?
Interesting question. Well, first of all, as you know, Sida does not develop or implement its own programs, but we are constantly seeking partners who can help us deliver on what we want to achieve in a strategic and effective manner. And, well, as I said before, I think it's becoming increasingly important for partners or actors in development cooperation to seek partnerships and to work together. And this is maybe one of my main expectations on SIANI 2, that these themes and these working groups that we will learn more about today, that they can actually result in concrete partnerships that can deliver results where it matters the most. So I would say that, I just have to read, see if I'm saying something that I had planned. No, but good ideas are good, and I think SIANI 1 show that there are many good ideas in Sweden among different actors. But I think that SIANI 2 can even more go from ideas to action and really use this whole chain, and use. I think this is also a very unique opportunity for all SIANI stakeholders to really, to seek partnerships and to even develop concrete programs that can lead to go from ideas to action. And then see how Sida and Sweden can pick up on that.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, Jakob, I'm getting tired of listening to my own voice now. So let's talk about you for a while. You are Deputy Director of Stockholm Environment Institute, SEI, and you are also its Stockholm Center Director. You have a PhD in geography, and I know that you have a long experience of working with natural resources and energy management in many parts of the world, having worked with both Sida and the World Bank. And I know that water-related issues are close to your heart, both professionally but also private. I know you enjoy windsurfing and sailing. And so as SIANI 2 set sail today, I would like to hear you reflect on your expectations on SIANI 2, and maybe also hear your thoughts on what can be improved compared to its first phase. And maybe ask my second question once. So, and also like to know how you see that SIANI fits into SEI's mission and strategy.
Very good. Thank you so much. And of course, we are a member, SEI, we are a member of the network as anybody else here, and we are very keen to contribute with knowledge and in the partnership. But we also have the pleasure to be the secretariat of the partnership, which is an activity that we take very seriously upon, of course, to be able to support all of you and the team here who has been organizing this event has done a tremendous start, I think, for the second phase and getting so many people here today. If we see how SIANI then fits into our work, our mission, and we are working also on a vision for SEI, but it's all about creating sustainable livelihoods and to maintain the ecosystem services that are fundamental for those livelihoods. And I mentioned the challenge to reach out to the bottom billion people and try to get them into more mainstream development trajectories, and in that context, one can look at the numbers and see that about 1.6 billion people are employed to a degree, are working in the rural agrarian sector, and it's a significant challenge, and we need to see how we can work with these people to improve efficiency and productivity in agriculture, to move these people into more high-value jobs to tackle the poverty issues. And also just the challenge that we have to create another 600 million jobs in the next 15 years in general, globally, to meet the population target will be a real challenge. And the agriculture sector here and food and nutrition sector are crucial, fundamental to create these livelihoods. So at SEI, we are very keen on being part of that work, and we work quite a lot on understanding the water, energy, food nexus, these linkages at both the local level between using more efficiently the residues from agriculture production or from sanitation, and move that into agriculture and identify new business models in that area. And then we look at more broader in the market space how agriculture issues relate to global trade and also how it relates to what we talk about, the new geopolitics, the issue of lack of resources and more challenges, and how we see then the world is more interconnected. The food crisis, as we talked about, you mentioned earlier, in, for example, can have been partly contributed to a lot of the development we have seen in the Middle East, upheavals globally. So there are strong connections here, and we believe that more research needs to be done in that area. So we think we have something to contribute to, and we're very happy to do that with you as colleagues here. And then finally, so our expectations are, I assume, the first phase was very much about establishing a network. So a lot of questions were raised about the efficacy of a network like this. But I think we have seen the interest from you, and we have seen how the website has been utilized, and a new knowledge have come to the foreground. And how this is now, that's what I see at least, is clearly moving into the Swedish development agenda, and also globally the importance of food security, water security, and energy security. So we hope that we will see very much sort of perhaps more action-oriented research and development work in this area, feeding into real activities on the ground that we can monitor and measure, but also a very strong relate to the policy framework, which is very much where we are at SEI, from science to policy. So thank you very much for that opportunity.
Thank you, Jakob.
Good.